What is up, everyone, and welcome back to another Black Desert video. In this video, I'm gonna try and keep it kind of short, relatively short, yeah. But what I wanted to go over were a few things that new players should know jumping into the game. So, right off the bat, you should know energy and contribution points. You don't really necessarily have to know what they do, but they are relatively important. You can pretty much level both of these things from just doing quests throughout the game. I want to say energy, you can level that one just from kind of talking to NPCs around the world and gaining knowledge about things. So reading books, talking to NPCs, finding new places, finding node managers, things like that. That will increase your energy. And while you do quests, they make you find those people. So it's kind of hand in hand. Contribution points, on the other hand, can only be brought up through certain life skills and quests. Quests being the fastest one and the most, I guess, cost efficient because it has no cost. You just have to go and do the quest. So the most cost efficient way. The other ways, more specifically in life skills, would be cooking, alchemy, and farming. I think there's another one, but I'm not sure. I'm sure there's another one, but I can't think of it right now. So cooking, alchemy, and farming, as far as I know right now. So as far as those things go, your contribution is basically how much money you can make AFKing or semi AFKing because it allows you to buy houses, buy storage, buy workers, make workers go to certain nodes and things like that, which isn't very important early, but late game it would be. So this is why most people would recommend you do your quest line to start out, plus the backspace and all that stuff. The energy is relatively important because if you want to gather, like you see, my character is gathering right now, she's gathering water. It takes an energy every time this bar fills up, as you'll see. Watch. It'll take one energy away. I'm at 82. Now I'm at 81. So every gathering action takes an energy away from you. So that's relatively important. There's other uses for energy as well, but we won't get into those right now. So as far as those two things, those are really important to kind of keep in mind as to when you're leveling that you need to kind of be trying to level those as well, just for your late game experience to be better, and you don't have to get to late game and then come back and be worried about it. Another thing to be noted is the armor. The way the armor works in the game, no specific piece of armor is, I won't say better, but there's no big difference in the armor. Like you'll have slight difference that make one set better than the other, but it's not like most games where you have basically garbage gear and then it keeps scaling up as you buy different gears. No, it's like each gear will have around the same stats and the stats will only differ as you upgrade them. So like if we were to, let's take a quick look at that real quick just so I make a little more sense. So if we were to go to this armor here, all right, let's just type in shoes. Okay, so we have a bunch of different shoes here. But if we look at all the stats of the shoes, so that's 1 DP, 1 DP, 1 DP. No matter what shoe we get, oh, except for this one, we got 2 DP here. But almost every shoe will be 1 DP at the start, unless it's special in being like a damage reduction specific shoe. So if we were to now raise the grade of these, so let's go to something like Pry, we get all around the same values except for those few shoes that we saw that were just a little better, but they will lose out in other areas, which makes them basically around the same again. So this one, 44, everything pretty much is going to be 36, except for a few outliers. And as you can see, the stats here differ as well. But the reason why these here are actually higher is because they have a yellow band around them, which means they've been ultimated. Didn't notice that for a second. I wasn't paying attention. But I don't know if I can take the ultimate off again. But just pay attention to the greens. Got 36, 36, 36. And then there's a defense specific, so it's 39. This one's 37. 36 again. It's pretty much 30, anywhere from 36 to 39, it seems. Same goes for weapons, unless you get like an AP specific weapon. That's the only time it's going to be a big jump. Well, not even a big jump, but like 4 to 5 points of difference or whatever. But yeah, it doesn't really matter what armor you choose to focus on, but it does matter that you upgrade that armor. And if you look online or anywhere, they'll tell you the specific armors that are good right now and why they're good. I won't really get into that. I'm just going to tell you that the armor is different from other games. So like as you start, I would suggest just kind of fighting with anything that you find on the ground until you get to a point where you're able to kind of just buy you a nice set. Like right now, I believe top tier will be Grunil. Something our Grunil armor is here. Not necessarily the blue ones. I recommend buying the green ones just cause. But these are pretty much recommended right now. It's yeah, right here, this little set. They're fairly expensive for upgrading, but yeah, you get what you pay for. They're all 1 DP except for the helmet there. Yeah, whatever. What I started with when I first got into the game was Fortuna, which is a relatively cheap armor. Plenty of it on the market all the time. People use it when they're upgrading to get stacks and whatnot, which I'll get into in another video. Let's see. What else is important? Another important thing would be pets, but that is a real money item. It can be bought through in-game currency, but if you are just that kind of player that once they get into a game, they are willing to spend some money, I would recommend getting pets, which would be found here in this Pearl shop. Pet. Pets go anywhere from 22 to $9. That's the basically cash to pearl cash to pearl exchange rate. Yeah, there we go. So 900 is about $9 for a dog or whatever. And the pets are important simply because they pick up the items for you, and picking it up yourself is annoying and slow. But if you can't, it's fine. You just you'll deal with it until you can't deal with it. Um, what's something else that should be known? I think as far as very basic stuff goes, that's pretty much the majority of what you need to keep in mind early game. There are a few other things that come to mind, but I will not talk about those in this video. Um, Basically, your skill points, anything to level up here, it comes from grinding mobs. So basically, if you grind really slowly, so if you kill the monsters really slowly, you'll end up with a lot of skill points. If you kill them relatively fast, you'll end up with a low amount of skill points. And this only really affects you when you've already leveled a character to 56 or whatever level. And then you go to another character because the armor is transferable since it's all non-class specific. Any class can use the same armor that you've upgraded on another character. So if you were to throw that armor over onto your other character and now you're like already as strong as, well, not as strong as, but you already have the stats armor wise of your higher level character. So you just power through all the levels and kill everything relatively fast. You'll end up with almost no skill points to put into your person, and they'll be kind of lackluster. Whereas someone coming from 0 or 1 to 56 normally would have tons of skill points to put in. That's just something to keep in mind as well. I think as far as that goes for a new player, that would be about the gist of what you wanted to keep in mind. If you were to decide to not go the questing way and you just wanted to just kind of explore the world and grind yourself up, I don't know if the map will point out all of the locations, but for the most part, all the monsters have a level require or a level suggestion on them. You will be able to find some leveling guides online that kind of pass by the questing part of the game and just get you to 56 as fast as possible. If you wanted to get there like super fast, I would recommend kind of like going into your server chat and just asking someone, just ask if anybody is available to help you level. That would be the almost fastest way, in my opinion, for someone with no gear, no other characters, no anything to get to 56. Though you will miss out on a ton of things, you will not learn how to use your character and fight. And yeah, so yeah, that's pretty much gonna wrap up this video, and I'm gonna take this phone call. I thank you guys for sticking with me, and peace.